Why do we chase dreams that feel like wearing someone else's clothes? Expensive, admired by others, yet never quite fitting right. What invisible force compels us to climb mountains we never chose, pursuing victories that taste like ash when finally achieved? Is fulfillment about reaching the destinations others have marked on our maps? Or does true peace lie in a completely different direction most people never consider? Hello everyone. Welcome to Universal Life Stories. Today's story reveals a trap that silently steals the joy from millions of lives. You might be caught in it right now without even knowing. This pattern could be the reason success feels empty when it arrives. While listening to this story, we will also discover profound truths about authentic living that you can apply starting today. So stay with us till the end. In a competitive corporate world lived a young man named Alex. He was intelligent, hardworking, and possessed the kind of drive that impressed everyone around him. At 26, Alex had achieved what most would consider remarkable success: a corner office in a prestigious law firm, a salary that made his parents beam with pride, and a lifestyle that looked perfect from the outside. But beneath the polished exterior, Alex felt like he was slowly suffocating, as if his soul had been buried beneath years of pursuing dreams that had never truly been his own. The path had seemed so clear when he was younger. His father, a successful lawyer, had painted pictures of courtroom victories and financial security. His mother spoke constantly about prestige and social status. Teachers praised his analytical mind and debating skills, steering him toward pre-law courses. Everyone around him seemed to know exactly what Alex should become, and their certainty felt more compelling than his own quiet doubts. Through college and law school, Alex excelled at everything required of him. He graduated magna cum laude, passed the bar exam on his first attempt, and landed the coveted position at Morrison & Associates. Each achievement brought temporary satisfaction and endless congratulations, yet something fundamental felt wrong. Success tasted like medicine, bitter despite its supposed benefits. The morning everything changed began like any other. Alex sat in his office reviewing contracts, surrounded by leather-bound legal volumes and certificates that proclaimed his expertise. Through his window, he could see a street musician playing violin for passing commuters. The melody drifted up 17 floors, somehow penetrating the sealed glass and air conditioning to reach Alex's ears. The music was hauntingly beautiful, filled with a passion and authenticity that made Alex pause mid-sentence in his document review. As he watched the musician, Alex noticed something that struck him like lightning. The man's face radiated pure joy. Despite having no office, no salary, no prestigious title, this street performer possessed something Alex had been searching for without even realizing it: complete alignment between his gifts and his expression of them. The violin sang with such genuine emotion that even hurried business people slowed their pace, dropping coins not out of pity, but out of recognition that they were witnessing something real in a world full of pretense. That evening, Alex found himself unable to concentrate on his case files. The image of the street musician haunted him, not because the man seemed pitiable, but because he seemed free in a way Alex had never experienced. For the first time in years, Alex allowed himself to remember what he had loved before the world began telling him who to become. As a child, he had spent hours writing stories, creating characters and worlds that felt more real than his everyday life. He had dreamed of becoming a novelist, of touching people's hearts with words that mattered. The memory felt like excavating buried treasure, precious, beautiful, and somehow painful to uncover. Alex remembered the notebook he had filled with story ideas in high school, the way writing had made time disappear, how creating something from nothing had felt like the most natural thing in the world. He recalled the moment he had mentioned his writing dreams to his parents, the uncomfortable silence that followed, the gentle but firm redirection toward more practical pursuits. Over the following weeks, Alex found himself paying attention to his internal responses in ways he had ignored for years. Buddhist teachings speak of mindfulness as the art of witnessing our true reactions without judgment, and Alex began practicing this ancient wisdom without even realizing it. He noticed how his body felt heavy when he walked into the law firm each morning, how his energy drained during partner meetings, how even victories in court felt hollow rather than fulfilling. Conversely, he observed how alive he felt during the rare moments when he allowed creativity to surface. When he crafted particularly eloquent legal briefs, the satisfaction came not from winning arguments, but from the artistry of language itself. When he helped younger associates with their writing, he felt more energized than any courtroom success had ever provided. These observations became breadcrumbs leading him back to his authentic self. One rainy Thursday evening, Alex made a decision that would have terrified his younger self, but felt inevitable to the man he was becoming. He stopped at a bookstore on his way home and purchased 3 items: a simple notebook, a quality pen, and a collection of short stories by writers who had quit their day jobs to pursue their calling. That night, instead of reviewing case law, Alex opened the notebook and wrote his first sentence of fiction in over 8 years. The words came slowly at first, like water from a long and used well, but they came. Alex wrote about a lawyer who discovered he had been living someone else's life, a story that felt both fictional and autobiographical. As he wrote, something profound happened. Time seemed to stop, and Alex experienced what psychologists call flow state, what Buddhists might describe as being present to the eternal now. For 2 hours, he forgot about billable hours, client expectations, and partnership tracks. He simply created. The contrast was startling. Alex realized he had been living in a state of chronic dissatisfaction for so long that he had forgotten what genuine engagement felt like. The Buddhist concept of right livelihood suddenly made perfect sense, not just earning money through ethical means, but aligning one's work with one's deeper purpose and natural gifts. Alex understood now why the street musician had looked so radiant. He was living in harmony with his authentic nature rather than fighting against it. Over the following months, Alex began what he privately called his dual existence. By day, he fulfilled his professional obligations with competence, but without the desperate attachment to success that had previously driven him. By night and on weekends, he wrote stories that seemed to flow from some inexhaustible spring within him. The writing became a form of meditation, a daily practice of returning to himself after hours of wearing masks that no longer fit. His colleagues began noticing changes in Alex that they couldn't quite identify. He seemed more relaxed, less competitive, paradoxically more effective because he was no longer trying so hard to prove himself. He offered help more freely, listened more carefully, and brought a quality of presence to his work that served his clients better than his previous frantic ambition ever had. The story Alex was writing grew into something larger than he had imagined possible. Characters developed personalities he hadn't consciously planned. Plot connections emerged as if the narrative had its own intelligence. Writing became less about imposing his will on the page and more about discovering what wanted to be expressed through him. This process taught him something profound about the difference between forcing outcomes and allowing natural unfolding, a lesson that extended far beyond creative work. 6 months into his secret writing practice, Alex received news that would test his newfound clarity. The firm offered him a promotion to partner, complete with a substantial salary increase and all the status symbols he had once craved. 5 years earlier, this moment would have represented the pinnacle of success. Now, as he sat in the senior partner's office listening to the offer, Alex felt mainly compassion for the man he used to be, the man who would have accepted immediately without question. Instead, Alex asked for time to consider. That evening, he took a long walk through the city, eventually finding himself near the corner where he had first seen the street musician months earlier. The violinist wasn't there, but Alex could still hear the echo of that transformative melody. He understood now that the musician had been more than an inspiration. He had been a mirror, reflecting back Alex's own possibility for authentic living. The decision, when it came, felt less like choosing and more like recognizing what had already been chosen by his deeper wisdom. Alex declined the partnership and gave his notice, explaining to shocked colleagues and family that he needed to pursue work that aligned more closely with his values and gifts. The conversations were difficult, filled with concern, disappointment, and questions about his sanity. But Alex had discovered something that made external approval secondary: the profound peace that comes from living in integrity with one's authentic nature. Buddhist teachings describe this as finding one's dharma, one's unique purpose and way of serving the world. Christian wisdom speaks of it as using the gifts God has given us rather than hiding them under bushels of fear and social expectation. Universal spiritual truth recognizes it as the alignment between soul and expression that creates genuine fulfillment. The transition wasn't easy. Alex took a part-time position teaching writing at a community college, earning a fraction of his former salary, but gaining time and energy to complete his novel. There were moments of doubt, especially when former colleagues shared news of their continued success in the legal world Alex had left behind. But these moments of comparison became opportunities to practice what he had learned: that true success cannot be measured by external standards, but only by the degree to which we honor our authentic selves. Alex's novel, when it was finally finished, told the story of a man who spent years climbing a mountain only to discover at the summit that he had been ascending the wrong peak all along. The book found its way to a small publisher who recognized its emotional honesty and universal themes. While it didn't become a bestseller, it touched readers in ways that Alex's legal victories never could. Letters arrived from people who saw their own struggles reflected in his protagonist's journey, who found courage to question their own choices and pursue their own authentic paths. The most profound reward came not from external recognition, but from the daily experience of living aligned with his deepest nature. Alex woke each morning with anticipation rather than dread, approached his work with creativity rather than obligation, and went to sleep each night with the satisfaction that comes from using one's gifts in service of something meaningful. Years later, when former colleagues asked Alex if he missed the prestige and financial rewards of his legal career, he would smile and share what he had learned: that chasing others' dreams is like trying to satisfy hunger with pictures of food. It may look appealing, but it can never truly nourish. True fulfillment comes not from reaching destinations others have chosen for us, but from having the courage to trust our own internal compass and follow it wherever it leads, even when the path looks uncertain to those watching from the safety of conventional success. The street musician had taught Alex the most valuable lesson of his life without speaking a single word: that authentic expression of our gifts, regardless of external circumstances, creates a quality of aliveness that no amount of borrowed success can match. When we stop chasing others' dreams and begin honoring our own, we don't just change our careers. We reclaim our souls and step into the full power of who we were always meant to become. If this story sparked something within you, give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments below. Are you living your own dream or someone else's? What authentic calling have you been ignoring? Your honest reflections might inspire someone else to find their courage. Subscribe to Universal Life Stories for more transformative tales that awaken the soul and challenge you to live with greater authenticity. Until next time, stay true to yourself, trust your inner compass, and remember that the world needs what only you can offer when you dare to be genuinely yourself.